Hey, have you guys heard the news? Our July open house challenge is around the corner. We start July 1st, but it's not your 3-day, it's not your 14-day. It is bigger and better than ever. We're having a 30-day open house challenge. We're going to go all in. So, to help new agents, struggling agents get leads without spending any money and using my non-traditional open house strategies. So if you're curious on what that's about, you're going to want to get in there. We're going to have 30 daily prompts and it's going to be a ton of fun. So there's going to be prizes for those of you who book and host the most open houses. On the 31st, we're going to have a Q&A, maybe a role play, a challenge debrief. So get in there now. Introduce yourself, tell us where you do business, and start networking. The Facebook group is open now, but we start officially July 1st. Can't wait to see you there. If you're feeling a little defeated right now because maybe you don't have the transactions that you set out to have for the year, maybe you've gotten a deal but you've lost it, or you have low turnout rate at your open houses, then let's talk about a strategy to help you bounce back. I know that it's very discouraging your first year when you're starting out and you're putting yourself out there, you're marketing, and it's crickets. You have nobody reaching out to you, or maybe you do have your first deal and something happens and you lose it. As a brand new agent, that is very discouraging. And maybe you're hosting open houses. You're listening to my podcast and you're like, I'm going to do this. I can do this. I can get this done. And then you have low turnout rates at your open houses, or you're not converting at your open houses. So those are some common setbacks that new agents encounter. It's totally common. Now, what happens is that when you assign a negative meaning to those things, then that's when you can become very defeated. That's when a lot of people will end up exiting the business because they don't have the tools to bounce back, to work through it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to talk about one major tip to get through that. And it is a mindset tip. And I know that you're going to be like, oh, that's cringy, because I know it was for me. I've probably shared this story many times, but my first year in real estate, when I used to hear the top producers saying, oh, it's all about mindset, they would ask, oh, what is your number one tip? And they would say, mindset. I remember cringing. I was like, what? Just give me the strategy. Like, I want to know, like, how do I write the deal? How do I get these clients? And I know it's cringy, but it is huge. It's not just about a positive mindset. You have to have a strong mindset. And here's what I mean by that. Mindset meaning the way you think about something, right? So if those things happen, you're putting yourself out there and you're getting crickets. You've lost a deal. You have low turnout rates at your open houses. If those things happen and you're making them mean something about you, you're making them mean something negative, then that is going to just determine the outcome of everything. So the strategy is, what are you making it mean? That question right there, if you guys have a notebook and a notepad, you need to write that down. What am I making this mean? So something happens, and then you have the option to make it mean whatever you want to make it mean. Now, for some reason, we always tend to go to the negative. It's just kind of the way the human brain works. We just go to the negative right away. But when you become aware that that's what you're doing, you can pause and stop and say, okay, wait a minute. What am I making this mean? So why am I making this mean that nobody wants to use me as a real estate agent? I'll never get a client. Those things, right? I know you're doing that. If you lose a deal and right away you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened to me. Why do things like this always happen to me? Right? You're assigning meaning to that. So think about it. Think about some of the things that have happened, and right away, what did you make it mean? That question right there, you guys, is so powerful. Or, you have low turnout rates at your open houses, and right away you're making it mean that nobody's buying, right? There's nobody out there. Interest rates are so high that there's no buyers out there. I'm never going to get a deal in this market right now. If those are the things that you're saying to yourself, you're making them mean a certain thing, right? And the strategy that I want to tell you is that if you answer that question and your answer to that question is negative, then start to become aware of that. Start to become aware of what you're making things mean. This is huge, you guys. Seriously, try this in all areas of your life when something happens. And so just pause and stop. And then what you can do is give it a positive meaning. Now you can turn that around, right? You have the choice of giving that a positive meaning. So you're starting out, putting yourself out there, marketing, you're getting crickets. Instead, what you can do is say, okay, how can I tweak my marketing? What is it that I'm doing that maybe I'm not reaching the people that need to hear my message, right? That's how you can completely shift that. If you lose a deal, that is not your fault, right? You can find things that it's like, that was not my fault. And not even just to no fault of anyone, just things happen, right? So what you can say is that house wasn't meant for my buyers. There was a better house out there. I always use that one. There's a better house out there when we're putting in offers and we don't get that offer. I don't tell that to my clients right away because they're devastated, right? But I know, because I've been in the business for a while, I know that when we not lose a deal, but when we lose, our offer, we don't get that offer accepted, it's because there's a better house out there for them. I know that, and I truly believe that. So I put that meaning to that, right? So it makes me feel better. It makes me go out there and look for better houses for them. And then if you're having low turnout rates at your open houses, you can say, well, what can I do better to market my open house? What can I do to get more people out there, right? So you can turn these into learning opportunities. When something happens, you can turn them into learning opportunities. And when I first started out in real estate, there were a few things, that happened that, of course, I was very discouraged and I wanted to quit. I did 8 deals my first year, which was a lot for somebody in their first year, because the average is 2, I think. And my second year, I was like, whoa, I need a break. That was a lot. And then I just wasn't sure if I wanted to do it again. And I remember wanting to quit. And I hear a lot of this happening right now, that a lot of you guys aren't sure if you want to continue because these things are happening. And what I just want to say is, don't quit. If it's something that you really think you want to do, give it a chance. Give it a shot. Keep trying. I want to pay it forward because somebody told me when I decided that I wanted to quit, they told me to give it another year. And I did. And 12 years, I'm still here into it, and now I want to pay it forward. So don't quit. Try not to feel defeated when something happens. Shift your mindset. Ask yourself, what am I making this mean? And if right away your answer to yourself is something negative, then I want you to stop, be aware of it, and then shift it to something positive. I hope that helps you guys. Talk to you next week. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. If you can take a moment to leave a review, I would love it so much. And share with a friend who may need a business breakthrough. And lastly, if you're not already in our community, come on over to Open House Collective, our Facebook group, and follow me over at Open House Coach on Instagram. Until next time, have a great day.